guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2, Semester 2 Review, Units 1 through 4. Remember, this is no calculator. Show all your work and circle your final answers. Just like in class, I will just be going over the odds. So if you need help on the evens, you need to come in for extra help and see Ms. Carranza or myself on your own time. Okay? All right. For number 1, it says subtract and write the answers in lowest terms. Now, when I look at these right away, I notice that they're not the same, okay? And to do this, we need to have common denominators. So I'm looking for numbers that both 4 and 20 go into, and that is 20. 4 times 5 gives us 20, so 3 times 5 is 15. We have to multiply by 4. And we get 12. Remember that what you do to the top, you have to do to the bottom. Okay? And then when you subtract those two, you get negative 3 over 20. And you always want to check if you can reduce. And since we can't, we're going to circle our answer. All right, number 3 says divide and write the answer in lowest terms. Now, we've talked about division, that we have to flip, and then we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So 4 and negative 3. Now, 2 ways to do this. You can multiply straight across and get negative 3 over negative 15, which reduces. You can divide both of those by 3. Both of those are negative, so it turns to a positive. Now, another way that you can do it is you can be like, well, Mr. Grice, there's a negative 3 here and a negative 3 here, and we can cancel those out. And what you're left with is 4/5. It's the same thing. So it's whichever way you are more comfortable solving. All right, number 5. Number 5, we have to start inside the parentheses and with what comes first. Okay, that's the only thing we're allowed to do. 25 divided by 5 is 5. We still work inside the parentheses. 5 times 5 is 25. And now the next thing we have to do is multiply. And we get negative 10 minus 50. Okay? Negative 10 minus 50, or if you need to do the click, you get negative 60. Okay. Number 7 says that we need to solve, so I'm going to draw the line down so I can see both sides. On the left side, we need to distribute. Negative 1/2 times 6 is negative 3. And negative 1/2 times negative 4 is positive 2m plus 10. And on the right side, I'm just going to bring everything down. Okay, we need to combine like terms on the left and on the right. Okay, so on the right side, we get 2m. 3 minus 3 cancels out, so then we're just left with 10. Negative 2 plus 4 is positive 2. Now the next step would be get your variable on one side, so I'm subtracting the 2m, but then those cancel out, and we're left with 10 equals negative 10, which is a false statement. So no solution. Okay? Or if you want to use the symbol, it's just a circle with a line through it. Okay, number 9, we can do the same thing. I'm going to draw the line. We have to solve the inequality and put it into interval notation. So first thing we have to do is distribute, and we get negative 2x plus 4, oh, not plus 4, plus 8 plus 7 is less than or equal to, and we have to distribute over here too. negative 4x minus 12 plus 19. Okay, combine your like terms. Get negative 2x plus 15 is less than or equal to negative 4x plus 7. We want to get our variable to one side, so I'm moving the smaller variable. So we get 2x plus 15 is less than or equal to positive 7. Subtract the 15 to both sides. 2x is greater than or equal to negative 8. And divide by 2. We get x is greater than or equal to negative 4. Okay? And now it says that we got to put our final answer in interval notation. Okay? And to help us do that, I'm going to graph it first. Is it open or closed? It's closed, and then we need to shade to the right. A couple things to remember about interval notation is the parentheses mean open, the brackets mean closed. Okay, so our final answer, we start at negative 4, which is closed, and it goes all the way to positive infinity. That's what that arrow means. And then we use a bracket, or the parentheses, I'm sorry. Okay? All right. What is the slope-intercept equation of the line that goes through 2, 5 and negative 2, 3? Remember that slope-intercept is y equals mx plus b. So the first thing we have to do here is we have to find our slope, which is y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. And after we do that, we have to fill in the blanks. Okay? Slope, your y, and your x. Okay? So let's go ahead and get started, because the first thing we need is the slope. Y1 minus y2, so 5 minus 3, and then 2 minus negative 2. You can do the click on the bottom. 5 minus 3 is 2, and now that's 2 plus 2 is 4. Reduce the fraction, and you get 1/2, and that's your slope. And now the next thing we have to do is we have to pick a point, and I'm going to use the 2, 5 because both of those are positive. So we get y minus 5 equals 1/2 x minus 1. We have to distribute y minus 5 equals 1/2 x 1. I'm sorry, that should have been a 2. I was going ahead and doing the next step already, which is negative 1. Okay? We have to solve for y, so we add the 5. Y equals 1/2 x plus 4. Alright, this one we have to graph. And like we just said, that when we graph, we need it to be y equals mx plus b. So we're going to start by subtracting the 2x to both sides. We get 7y equals negative 2x minus 14. Divide by 7. And we get y equals negative 2 over 7x minus 2. Okay? So the two things that we need from this is, one is we need our slope, which is negative 2 over 7. And that tells us that we have to go down 2 and then to the right 7. And the next thing we need is the b, which is 0, negative 2. And the reason that's important is because that's where we start. Okay? And we get the negative 2 from there. And that's where we get the slope from. Okay? So I'm going to start at -2, and I'm going to go 1, 2 down, 5, 6, 7 to the right. Okay? And now while we can't go down and to the right now, but we can do the exact opposite because we want to draw as many points as we can. So we go up 2, left 7, up 2, left 7, and we've got our point. And the last thing we need to do is draw a nice straight line and make sure to add your arrows. Okay. Last one is to find the x and y intercepts. Remember, so x and y. There's going to be two things we have to do here. All right, so when you're finding the x and y intercepts, it's when you let the x equal 0 and you let the y equal 0. Okay, -8 times 0 is 0, and we're left with 2/3 x equals -24. We have to multiply by the reciprocal. And off to the side, we got -24 over 1 times 3 over 2. Now you can multiply straight across -72 over 2 and get -36. Or you can cancel and reduce, and -12 times 3 gives you -36. Okay, but the key thing to remember is I want to point. X is -36 and y is 0. Okay, now that's just the x-intercept. We got to come back and find the y-intercept, where those cancel. You divide both sides by -8, and we get y equals +3. And then our answer is 0, 3. Okay? Well, that's going to be it for Algebra 2 Semester 2 Review Units 1 through 9. Now, if you have any questions on any of the evens and need extra assistance, please come find Ms. Carranza or myself. Otherwise, thanks for watching.